very serious and very somber and extremely focused. Just a few days ago, there was, a palpable indifference to what the CJP was saying, Ambassador Mukherjee, and today they have relented. They have given in, and Saurav Das putting it eloquently towards the end there, that जो काम लोग 12 साल में नहीं कर पाए, हमने कुछ दिनों में कर दिया. Is this the beginning of not only a generational or a Gen Z movement, or do you also think that there is strong political value infused in whatever has happened today? A new political value?
Well, I would say, frankly, that the happenings for the last 1 week, culminating in today, has demonstrated that everybody agrees on the need for educational reform, which has been not implemented over several governments, and that this is the priority. That is what the CJP spokesperson said, and so did the government, the two ministers there. The second issue is that it was clarified that there was no question of any violence in this agitation or future agitations. If there was violence, that was unfortunate. The government on its part said that if there had been violence on the basis of which some youth lost their lives, full compensation would be given, which is what the CJP and others had asked for. So we have to look at this issue beyond just the resignation of one person, because resignation of a minister may or may not result in further educational reforms unless both sides, students, young people, government, parents, support system, everybody says that this is the need of the hour. And as I was saying before the press conference started, Vineet, that the important thing to realize is that we need to devise a system by which Indian students and young people are encouraged to stay on in India and not look for venues outside India. We are losing too many young people who are trying to go to Australia, New Zealand, etc., because the system cannot accommodate them here. It's too highly competitive, the exams are too difficult, and naturally leakage of a paper causes heartbreak for the students, for the parents, for the teachers, etc., because they have to go through the whole drill one more time, and it's a very agonizing process. So this kind of educational reform, once it takes place, will at one shot help the young, who are the majority in this country and upon whom India depends, to understand that the kind of challenges that India is facing, not just internally but externally, demands the need that we remain internally united and not divided. If we are internally divided, we can become the victim of external aggression. It is important for all Indians, young, middle-aged, old, belonging to any political party, to understand that the most important thing is to maintain national interest. And in that respect, I salute the government negotiators also for having shown flexibility to come to an understanding, so that we heard a joint conference today between the CJP and the government. We heard both sides saying that the agitation is being called off, there's a deadline, and that seriously reform will will go forward. In the process, I hope that the education minister, new who will come, will, I'm sure, have the ability to be able to interact with young people, and will have the ability to appoint negotiators, so that we can finally bring about one of the most important changes in this country, just like agricultural reform, educational reform, And if that takes off beneath, then we would also
Hmm.
succeed in keeping our young youth in India, so that this spectacle or daily spectacle that we discuss of Indian youth facing problems in Canada, facing racism in United States, not getting admission here, not getting admission there. When people ask, why don't we make an effort so that they don't have to go outside? They can stay in their own country, be with their family and their friends, be educated here and work here, because India needs young people to make India great. What's the
Hmm.
point if our young people just leave for other destinations? So I think it's a full process. I think today is a good day. And I think it goes far beyond the resignation of
Hmm.
the education minister, who, by the way, is a
That's
highly
saying a
competent.
lot, ma'am. That's saying a lot when you say it goes far beyond.
Far,
You
far
can write a book on that line. Well, Mr. Sahai, coming to you, sir. Well, this is also something which is perhaps a message to the police, isn't it? Since you have worked, as a senior professional in the police department, it's also a message for the police, right? That things can take a turn for the worse, and Gen Z is perhaps not taking anything lying down when it comes to their own education, their own welfare, and their security, and like Saurav Das said, to their dignity as well.
It can certainly go against the police and policing is a part of the overall government. So what we are talking about is lack of transparency and two-way communication, which has been missing for literally God knows how many years. Now we are talking about the police thing and the government has agreed that the cases will be withdrawn. Now both the parties have been talking about antisocial elements. And these cases, I presume, supposedly has been against the antisocial elements. So how do you withdraw these cases? I have absolutely no idea. And the governments have decided for themselves that they can plant criminal cases and they can withdraw criminal cases. If that is the fate of the criminal justice system, I think it is very difficult to say. If the government decides there will be no criminal case, there is no criminal case. If the government decides you pull back the criminal case, you pull back the criminal case. So that is one point of view. Second is policing in this country has not changed for last 3 decades, 4 decades, 5 decades, any number of decades. And the policing and the police and the government does not realize that this particular agitation was of a totally different kind. They were not able to understand the animal in the room. They did not understand the creature, the whole feeling, the intent by which these guys have come over a long period of exploitation, discrimination of variety of ways. The educational system has been broken to a level that it has become next to impossible. For a person with no corrections, no money to pull through, even a normal taking IIT exam, I think over the period of coaching will cost you some 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs rupees. So that is where we have come. And the magnanimity of the government to come to this particular agreement, let us have it very, very clear that the government was cornered to a level that there was no other way out. And it is only in that circumstance the whole thing has happened. And yesterday time was given till 2 p.m. today. And the government reciprocated and they felt that there is no way out and that is the only way. Because whole of Connaught Place and that particular area, the siege was laid. So this is where we are. Now you are talking about the reforms in the educational system. We will get into the educational system later. We are just talking about the NTA. So what NTA has been delivered and not been able to deliver, I think it is even a blind person can see. Now, how are you reforming it? And the first place. First is you bring a new law. The law has already been in place. Might be there few more notches ahead as far as the punishment goes. And that law will be taken through by the lawmakers who are not ready even to discuss or get into the details of it. So that's point number one. You have terminated 47 people who have run your NTA, good, bad, or ugly. Whether some of them or all of them or some combination of that particular talent and outside talent was required to take it further or you start from scratch. I have absolutely no idea.
All right.
The
Okay.
whole combination of a blueprint of change for competitive exam. Educational is a huge affair. Only for the competitive exam, that blueprint of change is nowhere available. We have been talking of big things about country, dignity, foreign aggression and things of that nature. But the blueprint of change has not been discussed. All which we hear is the 5 points, some charter which has been given. That is nearly all. Now, talking of compensation, the government still says that it will be given as per the rules. So that 1 crore thing does not stand.
Okay.
The whole
All right.
37, but for last since Monday, I think the earlier day has been out of, it is complete indifference, right? And the executive of the state of the country, it is their bounden duty to reach and see to things what are
So this
not
also
happening
goes on to
correctly
show
and set
you're
it
quite
right.
right. You're quite right. So we have a paucity of time. I need to include Chandani as well. Chandani, so this just goes on to show that the government does have the bandwidth, it does have the resources to make all of these changes, but it was the will that was lacking. And what these protests have done is infuse that fear in the government that Janta is Janardhan. They can put you on that chair. If they want, they can remove you as well. And that's exactly perhaps what's propelled this government to absolutely give in to all the demands that the Cockroach Janta Party has made.
See, I believe in one thing that, when you take a step back doesn't mean that you have been defeated. Sometimes it gets very necessary. Just like Sanjay sir said before me, that maybe the government was cornered in such a way that they had no way out. Now, I agree to some extent with the government, but I do not agree to everything that they have agreed upon. For example, coming to what they've said on the FIR, I do not completely align with the government. 2,500 people have been identified with criminal records from facial recognition that were a part of this protest. 118 police officials were injured. Women police officials were pushed and they were hit, and so yes, I agree to it that no innocent students must be punished. That should be there, but the government has to come and say that they will not withdraw all the complaints, and they will only withdraw the complaints that have been done against the innocent students, but not against those who were the miscreants. What the stone pelting happened, those people should not have been left unpunished. So I also don't think that the government will withdraw all the all the complaints. Right now also, I just read that 2 police officials have been injured. Right now, after the resignation, stone pelting has happened. Now, coming to the CJP, there is a lot of hypocrisy in CJP. Everybody is saying this is democracy. They have been saying that they are not politically motivated. I do not agree with them. They have not asked for the resignation of Harjot Bens and Bangarappa. When the Congress government was attacking the same students with water cannons in Kerala, when Aam Aadmi Party was doing the same, the Lati charge on student in Punjab, back to back, they justified it. These parties justified it by saying that it was needed to maintain law and order. So, if in one way you see CJP was only and only against the central government, if they were truly against whatever is happening with the students, they would have spoken about the injustice that is happening to the students across these states as well. Now, coming to why did this, if this was the eventual end game of BJP as to taking the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, why did it not happen before, and why did it take 30-40 days to happen? So I have a personal take on this, that being in the cabinet, being in the union cabinet, Dharmendra Pradhan had some responsibilities that had to be completed. Being in the cabinet, they drafted a stringent anti-paper leak law. They drafted an amendment to it on the already established law. They established special judicial and task force for the paper leak. The NEET was conducted nationwide successfully. Throughout this period of intense scrutiny, he continued to implement, he continued to advocate his prior national education policy. He changed the curriculum. He reduced Mughal history. He introduced chapter on 1975 emergency. He incorporated modern military history like the surgical strike. He promoted regional language education. Now, we also see that there was a mass termination, as sir said that there were 47 officials that were terminated. Criminal action is also going to take place on majority of them. The education secretary has been shunted out and has been replaced. Pratibha Setu portal has been initiated. They've hired a lot of cyber and operational experts. Now all these takes time, and I think these things were necessary for Dharmendra Pradhan to do while he was in the cabinet, before he gets sacked or before he resigns. Again, as I said, taking a step back for the betterment of the country is not the defeat of the government. And now it is to see that does CJP stand on its words that has been given. Already a lot of antisocial elements are taking it over. They have just appealed to the protesters to leave the site, but I do not think it is going to be that easy. The protesters leaving so easily, that is not going to happen.
All right, okay. We're going to
Yeah.
continue to talk about this. Mrs. Sahai Chandni, thank you. Appreciate you joining us. We'll take a very short break on that note. We're going to be right back with more on this.